Visama. On this chart, the price is bearish and broke below the support zone, becomes an RL. So I'm expecting to sell as long as it's below the support zone. And yes, the price keeps going down. The problem is I would have entered 4 trades to finally have a profitable trade shown in areas where the lines, sorry, support resistance, take profit. I find myself struggling to see this possibility of price having deeper pullback resulting in a lot of losses. And I sign price have a deeper pullback. Zone 100 pips. So entered here. Well, depending on where your stop loss is, you don't necessarily have to have your stop loss like right at the edge of this zone. You could have easily had your stop loss. Oh, let's go to my favorite drawing tool. Why couldn't you have your stop loss? Love that. And since you know that the market has gone down as low as here and here, why couldn't you get in here? Target that. You get in, say, close to 97, 96.75. You have about 125 pip stop loss, and you have a 300 pip target. It's over. It's almost 3R right there. So why couldn't you do that? Then you wouldn't have had to have 4 trades. You could have taken this one. But let's just, I'm just questioning that because I think there's alternatives here. Would I make this my first stop loss? Like, would I put my stop loss right here? I'm not entirely sold on that because this zone, in my opinion, I see why you drew this zone. I get it. I think there's some intelligence in it. But deeper pullbacks, wider zones as a whole. This pullback here, not to the prior level. This pullback here, not clean. So would I have taken all 4? I'm not totally sold on it. I might have had a wider stop loss, but generally look for, even if your zone is correct, let's just say I did agree with your zone, which I see some intelligence in there. I don't think it's bad or wrong. I think there's some intelligence there. You take this deeper one. Why would you need a stop loss here? That I get some of it. Why a stop loss here? I don't know. I mean, you got this one here. That's okay. And you have this brief 3 candle pullback here, but this is a much stabler zone than this zone here. This is pretty, at least in terms of this. I don't see why it would have had to be 4 trades, especially when we know that this, has some pretty good connotations to it. And if it does do this, I wouldn't be buying here. I wouldn't necessarily look at this as like a false break to where I want to. I mean, let's think about this. We pushed up above, but then we came back right below it into the zone within a short period of time. That's kind of a false break. So why would I be looking to all of a sudden buy? I'd probably be waiting to see what happens here. And then either way, if I get short here, I'm still putting my stop loss above here again. So to me, it seems like 4 trades is a little over trigger happy. I would try and be more picky about it in terms of unclean volatile trends. Be more picky, be more patient, wait for deeper pullbacks, bring wider zones. Does that make sense? DJB, I recently took a pound yen long trade based on 3 pillars criteria. However, I noticed that some other members on TradeStop were shorting this pair because it was showing signs of potential counter trend false break. More interestingly, it was forming a double top. I've heard you mention double tops in the APA course, not as a pillar, obviously, but more of an observation of additional information. It is. Do I need to care about patterns such as double tops, triple tops, head and shoulders? No, not necessarily. I don't look at it that way. Cup and handle. Have you ever heard me ever mention cup and handle? No. No, you don't need to pay attention to these patterns because whether it's a double top or triple top, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to hold or fail. I don't look at it like, oh, double top, triple top. Oh, I should short it. I look at it in terms of the context of the overall price action. That's why I don't really spend a whole lot of time talking about, like, you don't hear me like constantly measuring day in, day out, double tops, triple tops. I don't remember ever mentioning cup and handle. I may have in some sort of side jest or something like that, but I don't mention those things. So in terms of how they relate to the 3 pillars in terms of significance, importance, they don't. If they did, I would put them in the videos. If they had significance, I would put them in the videos. So you can feel pretty confident on that. But what you do hear me in every single video is 3 pillars. Why? Because that overall context can tell you whether a double top or triple top or whatever pattern is manifesting is relevant, is important, is supported by the order flow. I can think of 1,000 scenarios where a double top will be useful, and I can think of another 1,000 scenarios where double tops will not be useful. So how do you know the difference? What's the skill that allows you to see the difference? Price action and order flow, particularly the 3 pillars. Let's go through your charts anyways, though. Why would this double top? So here, you have a double top here, but why would this all of a sudden mean something and not this prior resistance. So what would be so special about this that this zone already didn't matter? To me, that doesn't make much sense. Not that double top, the next slide. Oh, okay. Why would that matter? What's the overall context? What do we have on this chart alone? Massive impulsive move, pretty much not, I mean, it's huge impulsive move, very gentle pullback. Looks like it might have even pulled back. Yeah, okay, so it pulls back to prior resistance, now support. Launches higher. It's less impulsive, but it's still impulsive. And what do? We form a corrective structure at the top. Okay, we could extend this a little bit. Okay, and let's extend it out this way. Because you can't, there's no way you can not pay attention to these 1, 2, 3 peaks here. But what do we have? A huge base, a corrective structure, especially a thin corrective structure at the top of a bullish move, generally indicates that the next direction is going to be up. And what do we have? We have a huge zone of order flow that a lot of bulls and bears have enacted transactions in. We have a clear support zone here. We have a clear resistance zone here and here. And then we break out of it. So why wouldn't we be going long on a breakout pullback? Why would this double top matter? Might be a sign of a counter trend false break. That's the challenging thing about listening to other people's opinions. You had a trade idea to buy here, and you got, I mean, like, I'm looking at this context. I'm like, okay, that's sure. That is a possibility that it could be a counter trend false break. But until the order flow and price action proves me wrong, how could I, just on this chart alone, why would I even be think about shorting? Where would I think about shorting? So would I want to start shorting when the market gets in here? No, because I got all this support here. So where would I start thinking about shorting? Well, if the market was to go, would I short here? No. But if it does this, boom, then I might be interested in shorting. So if it is a counter trend false break, well, I need the market to prove me wrong. And for that to prove me wrong, I would have to say that this would be like the lowest end of that area. And in some sense, let me erase this one more time and I'll show you why. Do you see this little line of support? It's subtle, but it's there. You know, that's kind of what I'm seeing. You do see a little bit right here. So if I'm going to get short, or if I'm going to no longer want to be long, where is the earliest place I'd want to exit my long? Let's say I got a position on a breakout pullback to this level. Where is the earliest position I'd want to exit my long? Just below this line, you know, somewhere right there. You could use a little more space right here because this is the leg that broke up higher. So you have a bounce off support, hits the resistance of the corrective structure, pulls back, strong buying interest, finally breaks out. Well, this leg alone, don't look at this as a fixed rule, but this leg alone, this is just one idea, one option. This leg alone is where buyers came in to break out through a strong impulsive move. That's clearly a fair amount of order flow on day traders that are going to protect that, and short-term swing traders. They bought aggressively here, pushed it out, cleared resistance. So I could put my stop loss here, or more conservative, just below this the bottom of the corrective structure. So yeah, it is a potential counter trend false break, but none of that changes the context and the price action order flow of this until we get to here. That's what I said. I did go long here. Yeah, I see that. Nice job. I think it's a great trade idea. I think there was only 2 locations you wanted to get long, and that was here on this kind of level, which you talked about, or here. That's it. Good trade idea. Yeah, super important to not get too overly worried about other people's opinions, you know, before you like go ahead and just pay attention and get worried about every opinion that they have that might contradict yours. Make sure you understand their style of trading first. Make sure you understand their general sizes in terms of stop loss, how they enter into positions. Make sure you just really understand their style as a whole, because then once you understand their style in context, then you can kind of interface their perspective with yours and then see like, hey, where would this perspective have wisdom and where might it not see things the same way I do? That skill to be able to do that though, that takes time.